Welcome to the show. It's that time of year, the best and the worst. Now, before we get into it, quick disclaimer, I'm not going to do wristwatch check. I'll do it later because, well, spoilers. It's got to do with some of the best releases of the year. Please do not take offense to any of this. If you love these watches in my worst list, then I'm happy for you. Enjoy them. Take no notice from me. It's merely a bit of fun and it's merely my own opinion. Life is way too short to be a watch snob. Oh, goody! This is going to be fun. I do adore it when TGV roasts these absolute rotters. Maybe some observations that I think the industry can certainly learn from, so do share your thoughts in the comments. But before you sharpen those pitchforks and light those... light the torches, just enjoy and remember it's only a bit of fun. I mean, let's be honest, it would be so boring if we all loved and had the same watches, right? Oh wait, most of the world does. It's called the Apple Watch. Without further ado, let's get into it. So let's dive into this year's cesspit of timekeeping horrors with the vulgar and the vomit-inducing top 10 worst, and end on a more positive note with the 10 best. It is the holiday season after all. Endless trash! So at number 10, it's almost a dishonorable mention at this point, but we had to put in Rolex's cretiноusly named Land Dweller. Mostly just for that. So the Corona finally re-entered the integrated bracelet race, despite the competition being well and truly over, flogged to death and turned into Patek. While Marmite on the outside, at least there was innovation going on, movement-wise, which I've discussed before during a live show. At number 9, it's the Tag Heuer glass box Tourbillon, and I was all set to nominate the Carrera Moonphase. But as strange as that watch is, at least it's trying to do something different. Does it work? Well, no, in my opinion, but I do respect the effort. But this, on the other hand, or preferably somebody else's wrist, is pure LVMH Nepo baby laziness. Just sticking a tourbillon in an otherwise stunningly classic watch is very much a dated attempt to make it better. I mean, what is this, 2015? It makes it look like one of those knockoffs where they expose the balance to make it look more fancy schmancy, only to culminate in a schifezza that looks so cheap looking it belongs at Costco. At number 8, it's Swatch X Blancpain Scuba 50 Fathoms The Pink Ocean. Just when you thought you couldn't cheapen a higher brand anymore in order to pull up a lower one for clout, enter this plastic slap across an enthusiast's face. It's so pink that I feel like I could get a venereal disease just by looking at it. And I'm also reminded for some reason when Blackadder said to Baldric,
"To you, Baldric, the Renaissance was just something that happened to other people, wasn't it?"
At number 7, it's no surprise with this reigning champion of vulgarity, Louis Vuitton, and their Tambor Bushido Automata. Aside from looking like some kind of insulting cultural appropriated Happy Meal toy, its gargantuan 46.8mm scale and visual brashness is shockingly not the most offensive aspect here. What truly is horrific, however, is to make this abomination possible, they actually employed several highly renowned master watchmakers and a whole host of super high-end technical feats in an incredible and heartbreaking waste of talent, money, and ingenuity. For me, the idea of owning any LV monogrammed products already makes me feel nauseous, but this watch takes you to even lower levels of bad taste. What on earth is that ghastly monstrosity? I haven't seen anything as frightening since a meteor appeared on the horizon. At number 6, it's the Zenith Chronomaster Sport 160th Anniversary Edition. Now, for some context, during my review of the regular version, I openly stated I would happily buy it over a Rolex Daytona or even a Speedmaster. I adored it that much. So what's the problem with this version? Well, Zenith, with no shortage of amazing releases this and last year, tragically, when it came to honor this anniversary version, they went with brilliant bright blue ceramic. While the initial choice and inspiration behind it is understandable, conceptually at least, in reality its hubristic vibrance only served to tacky up the proceedings. This is not a $300 Swatch moonwatch we are talking about here. What's more puzzling is that this is the same year Zenith released the translucent and also blue-themed Defy Zero G, which proves they can do amazingly cool stuff with kinds of blue. But unlike the genius of Miles Davis, it seemed the imagination completely ran dry here, so much so it's as lacking as the contents of a eunuch's underpants. Endless trash! At number 5, it's Bremont's Jump Hour. Last year they topped the worst chart with a disastrous rebranding that still surprises me that they haven't been sued by Stone Island yet. Well, they have since doubled down on stupid decisions, but to give them credit, and identity crisis aside, they did offer some rather nice Marshall-flavoured sporty releases. But then came this, a Jump Hour. A complication so off-brand, it would be like McDonald's serving caviar, quail's eggs and steak tartare in a burger. The Jump Hour seemed actually to be a bit of a mini trend this year. And for an on-brand, tastefully done example that doesn't look like AI slop watch design, check out the Jump Hour by Chrono Swiss. Now that is pure class and very fitting indeed. So at number 4, you kind of expected it at this point, but yeah, it is our old friend Richard Mille, or however you want to say it, Mille, or however you want to say it. And I'm going to refer to a comment from my good friend JD, shout out to you, sir. I quote, "Please look at this and explain to me why. Someone help me here. I'm unclear who on their board said, yeah guys, go for it. It looks like a winner. Who would read the time on this elephant turd and think to themselves, brilliant design, fascinating." His words, not mine. Porca miseria. Anyway, now I have to say, when it comes to RM, they do unequivocally impressive stuff, especially with what they do with materials and decoration in particular. But this atrocity, in my opinion, undoes all of that because it is just, I mean, look at this thing. This is the RM 6302 automatic world timer. I mean, it's so ghastly, any innovation is soon forgotten. This is a 100-piece edition, red, gold and titanium, designed to be an ode to travel. Well, to be honest, I think it's an ode to something else. Brown coloured, rather pungent smelling, and should only be used as fertilizer. Let's leave it at that, shall we? Right, carrying on. At number 3, well, I can hardly make this annual list without Jacob & Co. making an unwelcomed appearance again. This year they don't disappoint. With a watch of such unspeakable ghastliness, it's only right I edit in Colonel Kurtz here. Horror. The Astronomia Revolution 4-axis tourbillon is certainly a technical marvel, a crownless celebration of 10 years of the unfortunate existence of this collection, but at a whopping 47mm in rose gold, this travesty to the senses is so gauche only a lobotomized amoeba with $700,000 to burn would choose it. You can actually buy a very nice villa in Tuscany with a swimming pool and, if you're lucky, a vineyard too for that kind of money. I'm just saying, you know. Most surprisingly, at number 2 this year, it's G-Shock with their Crocs collaboration. No, this is not a sketch for The Onion. This sadly does actually exist. Typically, the top 3 is full of brands that are so out of touch with reality their designers must only exist on a diet of LSD and trust-funded liquid gold. But I guess it makes a rather refreshing change that affordably priced grotesquerie also exists. Hooray, you can be poor and have atrocious taste just as much as the nouveau riche. The coolest and toughest watches in the world decided to temporarily lose their minds for 2025 and honor the ugliest, cheapest looking, nastiest footwear to ever exist since we first started measuring time with sundials. Thankfully, however, being plastic, it's easier to incinerate, and hopefully after some intense therapy, you will only have to deal with the painful memory of their once existence. Okay, so number 1. Not a brand that I've talked about that often, I think in a few Watch Talk episodes many years ago. But it's a brand that's often described as, and I quote, quirky, whimsical, or an acquired taste. Whenever you see people using these words, it's basically a polite way of saying it's dog ugly, and proudly so. Konstantin Shakin, forgive me if I mispronounce that, has not only made another expertly unattractive watch with 2 subdials in a wacky configuration to display time, but now also desecrating Sandro Botticelli's Capolavoro, The Birth of Venus. Yes, that's right, the Renaissance masterpiece housed in the Uffizi in Firenze. But the crazy thing is, of all the utterly disgusting new watches that they put out this year, I kind of like it. Yeah, there I said it. I got it off my chest. Pun not intended. But what may have been really cool in a bright coloured plastic quartz swatch for $50, at 20 big ones, it's kind of taking the piss. Which I guess is the point. Or points. Yeah, more puns there. A watch so bad it's good. Kind of like if Neil Breen made watches.
I cannot believe you committed suicide. How could you have done this? How could you have committed suicide?
Inadvertently, it triggered an existential crisis in my thinking meat. So that was my top 10 worst of the year. I could have nominated hundreds, but I don't want to spend all day on this. Do share yours in the comments. Let's now turn to the best watches of the year, and it can only be one, to be honest. No top 10 needed. It's the Hanhart Red Lion Mark II that I designed with this fantastic brand. The first Type 20 they've done in 70 plus years. Yeah, that's the end of the show. There we go. Onwards and upwards for 2026 and beyond. I will catch you next year. Ciao. Obviously, I cannot nominate watches that I design myself, so I'm going to nominate other people's watches. Let's take a look, shall we? Number 10. Surprisingly, it's the Raymond Weil Toccata Heritage, an ellipse-style dressy mechanical, which is their best watch since, well, ever. While not exactly reinventing the balance wheel, it does look the part and thankfully beautifully sized. Toccata actually means to touch in my first language and used, like so many Italian words, in music, adding a very nice touch. See what I did there? Had they capitalized on the ongoing stone dial trend, I would have probably pulled the trigger myself, being an absolute sucker for the ellipse. And maybe it's a good thing. Oops, spoilers for a future possible cash grab with an ethically and morally bankrupt watch publication limited edition next year. Yeah, let's hope not. At number 9, while the watch world lost its mind with endless derivative content on the new Planet Ocean, Omega quietly earlier this year put out a far classier and sublimely perfect Seamaster in the form of a 37mm Milano Cortina. This would have been my number 1, but at well over 20k, its price even had me in utter bewilderment. Made from solid 18-karat moonshine gold, I can only assume that this moonshine must be as mind-numbingly intoxicating as that of the Prohibition era to explain why the prices are so high. At number 8, it's Frédéric Constant, who had yet another very strong year, perhaps their best yet. Design-wise, certainly. First, they elevated the world's most affordable Swiss in-house tourbillon with a mother-of-pearl dial variant, nearly causing me a divorce as I tried to buy it as soon as I saw it. But what really won me over was a triple threat world timer. Firstly, their proprietary world timer finally got a more realistic compact size that we had all been waiting for. Secondly, without the clumsy date. And thirdly, executed so cohesively and tastefully done. For my number 7, it's Lacquer, who celebrated 100 years with a classy little 38mm tuxedo dialed gold tone stunner. A brand always underrated. So hopefully more Lacquer on the Urban Gentry next year. Not only a big birthday for them, but of course a welcomed change for a brand synonymous with being in the short but prestigious list of 5 original makers of the iconic World War II Flieger watches. As a massive fan of German watchmaking, culture and history, I understand the significance here with this 1950s-inspired classicism. Not everybody knows Lacquer's birthplace, Pforzheim, being a historically important jewelry-making center in Germany, and not just all about watches, hence the nickname, the Golden City. Talking of the Germans, at number 6, it's Glashütte Original with the most exquisite Pan-O-Matic Lunar yet, in order to celebrate 180 years of Saxony watchmaking with a bewitching aventurine dial in solid platinum. And trust me, if I had the opportunity, I would sell my own Pan-O-Matic and upgrade instantly. Okay, at number 5, I'm not going to go into it too much. In fact, actually, check out this video. It's the Actron Space View. Without a shadow of a doubt, the most horologically important innovation this year. The last time we saw a movement like this was the spring drive. 10 years in development, they had to back engineer it from the old 214. It's the first time in 60 years they've made a tuning fork movement. And this is not only just a huge, momentous occasion, technically speaking, but beyond that, a significant shift in power in Japanese watchmaking, because, I mean, what's going to be next? Actron seriously are going to be the next Grand Seiko. Can you remember 10 years ago when Grand Seiko was first coming out and innovating? Everyone laughed and said, oh, it's just a glorified Seiko. Same with Bulliver and Actron. Well, fast forward 10 years from now, can you imagine what they're going to do with this kind of technology? It's amazing. So why isn't it number 1? Well, the Space View is a very divisive design, but as my video explored, it was hugely influential and changed the whole watch game. I mean, everyone has been inspired by this watch, if they like it or not, and I think it's greatly overlooked, that fact. So we can't ignore it. In fact, actually, it's kind of like a gauge of watch creators and influencers as well, because if you're not covering it, you're kind of doing a disservice to your audience, because it's so important, and it kind of proves the real enthusiasts from those that are just about, you know, value and status signal flexing and brand prestige and luxury. This is real enthusiast stuff going on. So anyway, refer to that video and you'll see exactly why this is so important. Number 4, perhaps most surprisingly, is the Patek Philippe 6196P, which proved that despite being in my lineup of worst watches 3 years in a row, the brand can still make some absolute strepitoso classics, like this, the best Calatrava in decades. And it's especially important as the collection gets ever closer to its own 100-year anniversary. And that just proves how enduring this heavyweight icon is. It's also a welcome change from the typical Camorra Boss or Tony Montana styled psychotropic trash that has sadly cheapened this big boy brand over the last decade. Alright, number 3, it's Panerai, yes. Well, I'm not going to discuss it too much because spoilers, I'm probably going to buy this watch. If I can buy it from you in Florence to commemorate, my special connection to that city. If you missed my video from a few years ago, I studied there, I met my wife there. It's a hugely important part of my life and place in my life. So what better than to buy a watch there? That's one of my 2026 collecting goals. I'll do a standalone video, so stay tuned for that. The By Tempo GMT Luminor in grade 5 titanium and black ceramica is a watch so functional, robust, sexy and capable, it should be called the Lord Flashheart. It's a 40 or 40mm size, with a return to 300 meters water resistance. Finally, just like my own Neo Vintage Luminor. Now I will save my commentary on this exquisite release for the next video, but as a Panerista for 2 years now, I adore this dagger watch qualifying release.
Mind if I use your phone? If word gets out that I'm missing, 500 girls will kill themselves. I wouldn't want them on my conscience. Not that they ought to be on my face.
For my number 2, and no surprise here, it's Hamilton. A brand that not only made the biggest industry moves of 2025 into the gaming world fame, with the Death Stranding 2 and Call of Duty franchises, but added a power reserve to the undisputed king of iconic Swiss-made manual wind watches at the entry-level price point, aka the khaki mechanical power reserve. With the pure utility of it, combined with a clever nod to the marine chronometry in the progenitors of what would become the khaki collection, those watches depended on this complication for military and navigational precision, which to me, and those who appreciate history, made absolute perfect horological sense. Pure, affordable class. So, what is my number 1? Well, if you know me, you kind of know this was coming. Yeah, it's Breguet. The king of all horology, il capo di tutti i capi when it comes to this kind of thing. In my opinion, above the unholy trinity, and they celebrate 250 years. So how can I not put them at number 1? I mean, 250 years. Let that sink in for a moment. Pazzesco, ragazzi. Pazzesco. Boy oh boy, and they didn't hold back. It seemed every month Breguet was dropping more heat than the surface of the sun. But which meraviglia got me considering selling a kidney? Well, let's recap a few of my favorites, shall we? There was the main assault in reasserting their technical prowess with the Experimental 1, a 10 Hz high-frequency tourbillon with a constant force magnetic escapement that would give me a headache just trying to explain it to you. This horological blitzkrieg was preceded by the equally jaw-dropping Classique Subscription that pays tribute to the classic pocket watches that inspired my own beloved tradition. Its minimal single, flame-blued hand on that pulchritudinous old-school-made enamel dial was also a stroke of marketing genius to troll the watch world. As if to say, even with just one hand, we still are better than everyone. Meanwhile, the displayed movement at the glorious rear end, you can insert your own innuendo pun there, a capolavoro of contrastingly complex but poetically balanced, aesthetically led traditional watchmaking in the highest possible finishing. But you might be surprised that neither of these heavy hitters are my choice. So my 2025 award for Watch of the Year goes to Classique 7235. This solid 18-karat yellow gold automatic in a 39mm diameter is the modern encapsulation of everything that defines and is instantly recognizable as Breguet, inside and out. With a newly updated caliber, entirely decorated in a seemingly endless myriad of classical techniques, its deeply neo-Baroque layout and style is inspired by the 1794 Perpetual pocket watch number 5. When you absolutely, positively gotta kill every Patek VC AP in the room with true class, except no substitute. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it there. Please do add your favorites and least favorites in the comments. I love hearing your feedback, especially on this. Don't forget to like this video, very important indeed if you want to support free and truly independent content. 2025 was a very difficult year for me. Check out this video that explains why. You're probably going to see a side of me and a part of my story that, well, if you had to see one video, look at this video, because it's you'll probably understand me better and what I've been up to this year. I hope 2026 is going to be better. In fact, I know it will. I know it will. I'm very, very excited. There's so much things that I'm going to be doing and sharing with you. It's just going to be a better year. I can feel it. I can feel it. So I want to wish you a very happy new year, and I will catch you in 2026. Onwards and ever upwards. Thank you so much for the support this year. I really do mean it. Thank you so much, and all the best for the new year. Onwards and upwards. Thank you for watching. Ciao.